paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's start there. So solving systems of equations by elimination. So hopefully we remember elimination from 7th grade or whenever you did this, right? And so what we're going to do here is we're just going to line things up. So our first job is to line things up, okay? So when we line things up, right, I have this blur. I'm just going to rewrite it. And then I'm going to take the second one and rewrite it like this, all right? Okay, so our first step is to line everything up, all right? And then our next step is to eliminate things, right? So to eliminate, that means we're going to subtract, right? Hopefully this is vaguely memorable. So when we subtract, right, we're left with all right, so when we subtract these two, what happens to the y's?
They cancel.
Yes, they cancel, right? So we're at like 0. Equal signs, you can't really cancel. They're just there, right? X squared minus nothing is still going to be x squared, right?
Mm-hmm.
15 minus 3 is
12.
12x, good. And then 40 minus 4 is
36.
36. All right, so that's the elimination, right? We've taken two equations and we made them into one equation. And when we did that, we got rid of the y's, right? And that's the really good part about here. So we got rid of the y's, so now we can solve for x, right? And what method are we going to use to solve for x? Any ideas? So we can't solve just by getting x by itself, right? Because there's two x's. But what we could do with this is we could factor, right? Remember how to factor, hopefully?
Yeah.
That was a not confident yeah, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. So remember what goes, if we did the x, what would go on the top?
12.
Oh,
36.
36.
12 goes on the bottom. That's okay.
Yeah.
So now we're going to find things that multiply to 12. So what multiplies to 12? Or sorry, multiplies to 36.
6.
Might be 36.
6 and 6.
6 and 6. Good. And that's going to get us to 12, right? And we're going to have them both be positive because a positive times a positive will give us positive 36 and adds to a positive 12. So, right, we can rewrite this as 0 equals x plus 12. Or sorry, x plus 6. My bad there. And x plus 6. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then from here, how do we solve for x?
Think you like combine them together, I think.
So remember, real quick, then when we do this, right? So this is factoring, right? And then if we went backwards, it would be foiling, right? So if we foiled, we get right back to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to set these each equal to 0, right? Because one or the other of these has to equal 0 in order for it to multiply and equal 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can set x plus 6 equal to 0, or the other x plus 6 equal to 0, right? So then we know x equals what?
-6.
-6.
Yes, good. I was worried there. I was like, this is the easy part, y'all. All right. So we know x equals -6, right? So once we have our x value, how do we find y?
You plug in x.
Yeah, plug it in, right? So we solve, and then plug in for y, right? So we have our x value, it's -6, right? If we had two different x values, we'd have to plug them both in, but we just have one. So we're going to do y equals 3 times -6 plus 4, right? I just picked the easiest equation to plug into, but you could plug in whichever one you wanted. Okay. And then from here, what's 3 times -6?
-18.
-18, and then plus 4. So we get what?
-14.
-14. Very good. All right. So then our final answer, you just have to you have to write it in an ordered pair. All right. So step 5, ordered pair. All right. So we know our x value is -6 and our y value is -14. So we would just write it as an ordered pair. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically that for the next one. So why don't y'all go ahead and try that next one for me? All right. It's very similar, and then I will work through it. I'm just going to give you all a little bit of head start. Okay.
All right.
So let me know when y'all get an answer, because I have no idea where you're at. I can't look at your papers.
If it's not the same, like
If you get 2 different x values,
yeah, then
you'd have to
what
plug
would
it
you
into.
do?
So you would have to do the y plug-in both times.
Oh, okay.
All right, how we do?
I'm almost
It's
done.
15.
Yeah, I'm almost finished.
Sounds good.
-3, 0,
Mm-hmm.
and mm, 8, 1.
I think so. Give me a sec to catch up with you. So are we good from here? So far, so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got.
What? Is that what you got or no, Isaac?
Oh, no, I'm saying like the steps. So those are the steps that I'm doing.
Oh, good, good, good. Okay. So then from here, hopefully y'all are just following the steps because it's a pretty straightforward thing. If you just follow. And then okay, so when you plug in for y again, like Michelle was asking, you're gonna plug them in separately. So I draw a line sometimes because I get confused. I'm a very confused person. So then you're just gonna plug it in both times. And 3. And it's always easier to plug it into the one that's linear that doesn't have an x squared, right? There's just less steps that way and you're less likely to make a mistake.
Oh, I see what I did.
All right. Is that what we got? I think that's what you said, Michelle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Are we all good with that?
Yeah. All right, I'm getting it. Yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, of course, as soon as I say that, like we're gonna switch to, I think, substitution. Yeah. So these next two are gonna be substitution. Okay. So that's elimination. This is substitution. Substitution. Do we remember what substituting is?
Yeah. Don't you like plug in since it's Y, you plug it in?
Exactly, right. So you just plug it in, which is really similar to what we were doing yesterday, right? So here what we're do is, for instance, let's see. So our first step is going to be to plug it in, right? Substitute, if you will. So we're going to take this, right, which is equal to y, and plug it in for y, right? So we're left with 2x plus 1, and then we just bring over the rest of the question, right? Make sense? So 1, substitute. And then after we substitute, what are we going to do?
Subtract 5x or 7.
So generally speaking, what we're going to do here,
Oh, we're
just
gonna
to
get
make your
the
life
other
easier,
side to 0.
right? Because we want to get it equal to 0, right?
Yeah.
So we're going
Mhm.
to put in standard form, right? And so to do that, remember standard form, I don't know if y'all remember this actually, is
ax squared plus bx plus c.
right? And it can have an equal 0 on either side. In this case, we're going to go on this side, right? So in order to do that, what would we do to move these over?
Subtract 2x and 1.
Exactly. So when we subtract 2x, right, it's very similar to elimination, honestly, right? Because you're going to end up with what you would get if you eliminated, right? So here we are. We subtract these, we're left with 0, right? And then the x squared stays the same. When we subtract those two, what do we get?
3x.
Negative 5 minus 2.
Oh,
So negative
negative
7, right?
7.
Negative 7.
Good. And then 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay. Does that make sense? We just have to be careful with our negatives. All right. So from here, how are we going to solve?
Factor?
Always. Exactly. Eventually, y'all will just get super used to whenever you see an x squared and a normal x, you're going to have to factor. That's the only way to get through that. All right. Oh, sorry. All right. So we're going to factor. Good. All right. So that's going to start with a big X, right? Remember the square. All right. And what goes on the top?
Oh,
And
It's negative 7.
good. What multiplies to 6?
2 and 3, 6 and 1.
Good.
That would be
Negative 6 and negative 1.
Exactly. Because a negative times a negative is going to give us that positive 6. Oh, there you go. But they're going to add to that negative 7. Okay. So then we could replug this in, right? And we'd say 0 equals x minus 6 and x minus 1. Make sense?
yeah.
Good. And what do we do from here?
Then
Just like we did before?
yeah.
Set each one of these equal to 0,
0.
right? Because again, whenever you multiply those are going to have to equal 0, right? So when we're here, so what would we get for this side?
X equals positive 6.
Good. And this side?
X equals positive 1.
Very good. All right. And predictably, we're going to do the same thing that we did before, right? Where we plug in for y, right? And so when we plug it in, again, I want to take this easier equation, which is this guy, right? So y equals 2 something. 1. All right. And then we're going to plug in our values, right? So in this case, 6 and 1. All right. So we're left with y equals 8 plus 1 is 9. And y equals, what, 3? All right. And then what's our last step?
Ordered pair.
Ordered pair, exactly. Okay. So it's nice and straightforward here. We're just going to put in an ordered pair. So, of course, x goes first, then
Wait,
y.
how did 2 times 6 plus 1 equals 9?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer. I think I just like added in my head. Good call. Good catch. Good catch. So this should be, thank you for catching that. What?
13.
13, right? My it happens. It happens. Because I think normally I've taught this class like twice by the time I get to most of y'all, so I've caught all my mistakes by then. All right, are we good now?
Yeah.
Okay, good job. There you go. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So right quick, we're gonna do the last one together, and then we should be good for today.
All right.
That's all there is.
Yeah, this is honestly, I think so, right? Yeah. This is a really easy, like if you get it, it's easy. It's kind of a pain to do the problems just because they're long, but it's not
Yeah.
hard, right?
Not too
Yeah,
hard.
Try that by yourself, okay?
the only problem is that like writing on it is a little difficult.
Sorry?
Writing it from OneNote, like it's just a little bit hard.
Fair.
You
I
can
think
do
a
it on
lot
a
of these
notebook.
you can just write on a notebook if you want.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people when they're doing their practice problems, they write it in a notebook and then they just upload the pictures. That works perfectly fine too.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. I like hate writing on computers unless I have like
Oh,
a fancy
yeah. I
pen.
probably should have done that.
Oh well, next time.
Yeah, because I was writing on it, and my writing looked very sloppy.
Oh no. Yeah, it's hard. That's why I've been writing on paper because it's just really hard
All
to
right.
write.
Yeah, I'll do that.
That goes for more or less any of the work you do. You're welcome to write on a piece of paper and upload it.
All right.
Guys, be careful with the doors, okay? Eric, no teléfono.
I love your house families. It makes me feel like my house is quieter than yours, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
What about the other classes?
But I don't have any young siblings, so that probably
The only problem about uploading it is that my email thing takes too long to load. I remember that I sent something to my email and it took 6 hours to send.
What? Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. Have you
I
tried
know.
just like using like uploading Teams on your phone? Like putting Teams on your phone?
Putting no, I haven't tried that.
That might be faster just because then you don't have to go through like emailing it. Maybe.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why. My emails take too long to send.
Yeah, that's really weird. I don't even know.
Because I sent an email yesterday at 5 p.m. and it arrived at 11 p.m.
That's crazy. Did you not have signal or something?
Yeah, I do. I was at the closest signal place, but yet it was still kind of slow.
I have never heard of that, but also have no
Yeah.
answers for you.
All right.
It's like technology, if it doesn't work, I don't know what to do with it. So but it's funny because all of the older teachers keep asking me for help, and I'm like, I don't know. You broke it. Go ask IT. All right, how are we doing?
I think I have an answer.
All right, give me a sec to catch up to you, but good. Everyone else, what step are we on?
Factory.
The factoring? Okay, good. All good. Some of us don't have the hustle that I think it was Anthony has. Was that you, Anthony?
Yeah, it was me.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. All right, so what do we get for x?
-3
Hold on.
-3. Good.
and -6 for y, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Let me almost there. I'm trying to write out all my steps so that I can upload these and people can follow them, but I'm really bad about it.
Um,
Okay. Oh yeah, y'all can't see my work. I just realized that. There you go.
mm,
All right. Does that make sense, y'all?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And if you're ever worried about your answer, right, remember you can always check on a graphing calculator, right? So even though on like a test, I would expect you to show your work, you can always check on a graphing calculator to make sure you got the right answer.
Yeah.
So that's probably the fastest check. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll check on a graphing calculator. I don't feel like writing calculator. Sweet. All right. Do we have any other questions? Michelle, did you feel okay about my explanation of what to do on number 3 in the practice?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
No.
No. All right. Are y'all good for today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'm going to hang up and I will talk to y'all probably. Wait, let me stop recording first. Okay. I will talk to y'all 6 o'clock. Tomorrow? No, actually, y'all are going to be doing things on your own for the next couple of days. And hopefully, y'all have a spring break. I don't talk to y'all before then. Or a good spring break, not just a spring break. A good spring break.
Wait. When is the quiz for this?
So, you'll have a quiz on Friday. It's going to be over C and D, just because you already had an AB quiz, right? And then when we get back to school, whenever that is, we'll do a review day or 2, and then we'll do the tests. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Just make sure you're uploading your answers for the practice, because otherwise I can't give you credit for the quiz. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.